Hi, hope you all having a good day. So I've been working with NextJS for almost past 3 years. I love the framework. It offers some pretty neat features on top of React, but it's not as full featured as many of the other popular frameworks like Laravel or Django. So depending on your use case, often you will find yourself combining NextJS with some other popular tools or libraries. In this video, I'm going to share some of the common tools that I use to build a website with NextJS. Hope you guys will find this video helpful. Make sure to subscribe if you do. And yeah, let's get started. Alright, so for UI, I use this library called Shadcn UI. It's definitely my favorite UI library out there right now, mainly because it looks pretty nice and minimalistic. That goes with my vibe. So on the home page, they have a few examples so you can have an idea how the whole design system works. You have a mail, the dashboards, the cards. You can see how it looks pretty nice and clean. You can also go to the themes and customize the colors and see how it looks in different variants. They also recently added charts, which is pretty cool. I made a video how you can use Shadcn charts, so you can check that out if you are interested. But the best thing about Shadcn is how you actually install the components. Let me show you what I mean. So if you go to docs, here on the left you have all the components. So let's go to button. Yeah, you can see how it looks. You can also see the code, how to implement. Let's say you like the button and you want to install it in your code base. So you can go to installation and see you can just run this button and Shadcn will copy this button code into your code base. So you don't have to install all these other components. You can only install the button code. So it's pretty neat, and the reason why people love Shadcn so much. Next, for icons, I use this tool called Lucide icons. They look pretty nice and clean. So let me show you some examples. V1 icons. Here they have more than 1400 icons, so there's a high chance you will find icons for all you need. Especially they have icons for all major social medias. So if you need an icon for Facebook, you can search for that. Even for GitHub. Here also you can filter by categories, so that's pretty neat. Next, I use this library called Nivo for all the charts and analytics. So it's built on top of D3 and React. It has components for all major analytics. So you have bar chart, calendar, funnel, line chart, and implementing them is also super easy. So let's say you want to implement pie chart, you can just click on this. So here you can see an example of how the pie chart looks like. I also like there's like a subtle animation when you hover on them. You can check on code, just understand how it's implemented. I also love their documentation. They make it super easy to understand how you can customize and stuff. They also support dark mode, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely my go-to choice for whenever I need to work with charts or analytics. Now for authentication, I've been using this service called Clerk. Although it's a software service, not like a totally free open source library, but they make it super easy to handle all things related to authentication. Even they generate like the profile UIs and stuff, so saves you a lot of time. Also, I love their docs, pretty clean looking and well detailed. Have detailed explanations for all major libraries. They have like a pretty generous free tier, like 10,000 monthly active users, which is more than enough for most small applications. And if you have more users than that, then I believe paying $25 a month is not a biggie. Also, I've been exploring this library called Lucia, which is like an open source authentication library. I haven't fully implemented Lucia in any of my projects yet, so I cannot give like a detailed overview, but I have heard some really good stuff. If anyone's looking for a free alternative of Clark, I think Lucia can be a good choice. For data fetching and query stuff, I use this library called React Query, which is now rebranded to DenseTech Query. If you check out their docs and go to Quick Start, first you need to create a client and wrap your application with the query client provider, and then you can use it in your code base. They have an example where you can use query for fetching data and use mutation for use mutation. That's a mouthful. But anyways, use mutation for all the data create and update stuff. It also comes with some options to check your status. So for example, on success that fires up if API response is successful, and then you can use that to invalidate your query, so it refreshes your data automatically. These days I haven't been using state management a lot. Mostly React query does the job for me, but whenever I need to work with state, I use this library called Justand. I'm probably butchering the name, but anyways. So you can just create a hook with their create function, and then you can use that hook to fetch or alter your data. And here's the output here. I'm happy to see now solutions like Justand exist, and we don't have to work with Redux anymore. And obviously for all the TypeScript dev out there, they also support that as well. So you get all your type safety stuff. And speaking of safety, I use this library called Zod, which does validation stuff for you. So for example, let's say you have an API which requires certain type of data. You don't want users to just send random data, right? You need to verify like if users are sending the correct format. So Zod like helps you with that. And it even works with like front end where you need to validate your form submits. So let's see a few examples. So you can include the Z from Zod and then define your schema. Here, define the schema that says should be a string. So if your data format is right, then you'll just have the data. But if it's wrong, it will throw a Zod error. And then you can handle it however you want. And if you have like multiple data types, you can create also objects. So for example, here you have an object, and inside the object, you have an username that's a string. So same as before, you can parse it with your data. And you can use z.infer and then pass your Zod object, and it will convert that into like your TypeScript type definition. So it's pretty cool. Now you don't have to create separate type files. Now to handle my database queries, because no one writes raw queries anymore, I use this ORM called Prisma, where you can define your database structure. Then Prisma helps you with query migrations and viewings, data, and all those stuff. I'm also hearing some good stuff about Drizzle. I haven't tried it yet, but so far Prisma is my go-to ORM. Next, for sending emails, I'm using Resend, mainly because they have a dark theme and they make emails easy for developers. So no matter if you are using Next, Python, PHP, they have nice docs for handling all major languages and even the frameworks. So I use NextJS a lot. So they have a Node Resend package that you can import and use it to send emails. So the founders of Resend is also the creators of React Email. So they make it super easy to send emails with React. So it's pretty cool. Now, if you have any kind of production grade applications, you gotta save your logs. So I typically use Vercel to have my logs, but Vercel only saves log for 30 minutes, I think, on the free plan. So I use Axiom to connect my Vercel. So all the logs from Vercel goes to my Axiom. And they have a really nice interface and query to help you find bugs whenever something goes wrong. They also have a pretty generous free tier, like 0.5 terabyte, and with 30 days of retention. So plenty for small applications. Next, for API testing, I use this tool called HTTPy, alternative of Postman. So for those of you who used Postman, you will find it pretty familiar. Next, for deploying my Next.js applications, I use Vercel. Probably the easiest way to deploy any Next.js applications. I mean, they are the creator of Next, so probably a no-brainer to deploy stuff on Vercel. Last but not least, for everything else, if I need a database or VPS to host my stuff, I use DigitalOcean, mainly because I love the UI. It looks very clean looking versus something like AWS. Also, they write really helpful blogs to help developers, which I really love and appreciate. So yeah, that's all. There might be some nitty-gritty stuff that I didn't mention in the video, but on a high level, these are all the platforms or tools I use to build a website with Next.js. Hope you guys like the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.